The Canadian Centre for Mental Health and Sport sits on 3 pillars. We're doing integrated care, research, and community engagement.
Integrated care, we have formed a team of specialists who have competencies in sport and mental health. And for us, that's really key because you definitely can take care of a lot more details and prevent some mislabeling and some misdiagnosing. The other really unique aspect of our team is that it's a collaborative team of experts, from psychiatrists to psychologists to counselors, psychotherapists, and mental performance consultants who are going to work cohesively as a unit to best develop care plans that are effective and efficient and feasible for competitive and high performance athletes and coaches. The other piece is that everything we want to do in the center, we want it to be empirically based, scientifically based. And so that's why research is a huge component. That's why Krista's whole PhD project is based on the first couple phases of this center.
I played basketball since I was about 12 years old competitively. I usually played 3 high school sports a year plus playing competitive club sport, so I was really involved. But I think that created a nice balance actually. But it also creates this singular identity where sport is who you are, and I think down the road that became problematic, especially when basketball became my sole focus, because I had the luxury in high school of playing other sports and of performing in coffee houses. I was really musical, sitting on our student council. So I was more of a well-rounded individual, and then I got to university and it was basketball, eat, sleep, breathe all day, and go to school, obviously, but that seemed really secondary to me.
The community engagement piece involves us developing resources for athletes, coaches, parents, sport organizations, so that they can increase not only mental health, mental illness awareness, but literacy, and they feel competent in being able to provide that support and being able to refer when necessary and to recognize those signs and symptoms.
I played 3 years of university basketball at Carleton, and around my 3rd year, I mean, it started long before then, but I just imploded in my 3rd year, and I became just severely depressed. I wasn't getting out of bed. I didn't want to eat. I wasn't really going to class. I was really just showing up for practice, but I was not there. I was like a shell of myself, and I didn't want anybody to touch me, which made playing basketball really difficult. So I would start to step out of drills, and that would frustrate my teammates because there's this whole team culture within team sport where everyone is working as hard as everybody else and everyone's contributing, and so I think people felt like I wasn't contributing, but they didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes, that I was just absolutely crumbling and I was experiencing so much pain. I was so unwell, so unhappy. I just felt so empty, and I couldn't tell my teammates that because, you know, people were playing with sprained ankles and torn meniscus and you know, broken fingers. How could I say, well, I feel pretty sad, I don't really want to play today? Like, that just doesn't seem to compare to the physical hardships that we were all pushing through. I was asked to leave my team, and that was so disappointing. I wasn't playing well anymore, and from my perspective, I wasn't useful, and it hurt so much because I had begun to place all of the value and the self-esteem that I had on my performance on the court, and so being told that, you know, you're toxic or you're not useful anymore, it just made me think, well, okay, I guess I'm like, why am I even here? Why I'm not a useful, valuable, worthwhile human being? And that was devastating. In that summer, on the one hand, it wasn't a great environment, so it was good to get out, but on the other hand, as I said, I was in this like insular bubble where I only had supports within that sort of little family, And all of a sudden, all of it was gone, and I was all alone, and I was, 7 hours from home, and I just felt, utterly helpless. And that summer, I tried to take my own life, and luckily one of my friends called the police. Obviously, I'm still here. And I mean, that's not really where the story ends. It's like a constant struggle. And I was lucky enough to finish my 4th year of undergraduate education and then get a second chance to play basketball at the University of Ottawa. And that was a completely different experience, largely because of the openness that I was able to have with my coach and teammates. Coach Sparks was really receptive to that, and my teammates knew what I had gone through, and they didn't judge me or make me feel like I couldn't be a successful athlete because I had struggled. I do struggle with mental illness. It's not necessarily something you ever get rid of. It's more like diabetes, like something that I'll have to manage the rest of my life. But they were so accepting, and I just got to be myself and find myself again and find a love for that sport again. And that was extremely healing for me.
It's going to take time, but I truly believe that we are going to revolutionize perceptions of mental health and mental illness in sport. And the feedback we've received so far from a lot of stakeholders in sport has been extremely positive. And so it's really fueled our efforts and our passion to keep going and to make sure that this is a success. It's time, for sure.